I thought leaving Scientology meant I'd left all the bad guys behind me. Phew. As long as I steered clear of Scientologists, Sea Org recruiters, and anyone shouting, "Get your ethics in," or "Give me all your money," I figured I'd be fine. Outside, I planned to rely on my Scientology-trained obnosis, superpowers to dodge the drugs and criminals they'd warned me about. Easy peasy, right? Yeah, not so much. Turns out, people don't walk around with convenient labels or fit neatly into categories like suppressive persons, SPs, and valuable group members. So, who are the bad guys then? How do you know when you bump into them? How can you tell a friend from a foe? Really, the world is full of gray areas, quirks, and people who are just trying to figure it out like the rest of us. Here's what I've learned about navigating humans, from one recovering cult kid to another. Mistakes and all. Number 1. Try to let go of the good versus evil mindset. Scientology taught us that everyone is either with us or against us, no gray area. Pretty much, you're either an evil suppressive person, a degraded being, or a potential or existing loyal group member. That's complete nonsense. People are messy, complex, and definitely don't fit into a few neat little buckets. I once ghosted someone because they laughed maniacally at a Joe Rogan joke. Why? Because my Scientology radar for joking and degrading told me they were a sociopath. They weren't. Turns out we just didn't share the same sense of humor. And either way, being flawed doesn't make someone evil, it just makes them human. Number 2. Be careful with certainty. In Scientology, certainty equaled power. We were taught that devout, confident, charismatic Scientologists were opinion leaders. The ones who acted like walking, talking L. Ron bots, those were the success stories we should model. After leaving, my family still fell for anyone or anything that exuded that same energy, people or products that promised all the answers, solutions, and clarity they were craving. On the flip side, I often ran the other way, but I didn't always succeed. I ended up befriending someone who had certainty pouring out of their ears. They always claimed to know what was best for me, gave endless unsolicited advice, and even convinced me to end a few relationships because it was supposedly what I needed. It wasn't. Confidence doesn't equal competence. Certainty doesn't equal wisdom. It's often just a bucket of disguised icky ego and need. Number 3. Don't mistake rudeness for honesty. After leaving a controlling hive mind, honesty felt like a breath of fresh air. I thought, wow, honesty is amazing. I can remove my filters. Say it like it is, people. But sometimes, brutal honesty is just rudeness in disguise. An ex-Scientology kid friend once told me I was weak-kneed and basically spineless because I refused to write someone off as evil. According to them, I couldn't see things clearly, and I should stop being so reasonable, a bad Scientology word they still used. Yuck. But still, I stuck around for years, letting them berate me under the guise of helping me confront my flaws. Eventually, I realized, anyone who tries to insult, guilt, or shove you toward their version of enlightenment isn't your guru. The path to healing is self-led, not pressured or corralled. Number 4. Helping versus saving. It's tempting to try to save people, especially when we know how it feels to be stuck. But saving people isn't your job. Saving yourself is. Suggest resources if they ask, but don't jump into the quicksand with them. And don't let them pull you in, just so they have company. I once tried to introduce a survivor friend to therapy, too soon, because I thought it would help them navigate and process their parents disconnecting from them. Instead, they went back into the cult and disconnected from me. You can't heal for other people. All you'll get is emotional exhaustion, and need more therapy yourself. They'll be ready when they're ready, not a moment sooner. Number 5. Respect your gut, but give it a sanity check. Scientology trained us to override instincts with orders and policy, so trusting your gut feels revolutionary at first. But sometimes that gut feeling is still shaped by years of paranoia and trauma. I ignored a new friend's calls because their vibe reminded me of a recruiter. After the Sea Org, I'm slow to make commitments, thanks to being coerced to sign 5 separate billion-year contracts as a kid. Oof. Turns out they were just enthusiastic about inviting people to their Pictionary game nights, wanting to build community after leaving Scientology. Trust your gut, but double-check that it's not just old programming masquerading as intuition. Number 6. Confusing charm with good intentions. If someone seems too good to be true, they might be. charisma doesn't equal character or integrity. I befriended someone really successful who radiated positive vibes, like an ideal org promo video. A few weeks later, I found out they'd been helping themselves to all the snacks in the office kitchen and telling everyone it was me. Lesson learned: charm without integrity is just glitter on a turd. It might sparkle, but it's still a turd. Number 7. Ignoring red flags. When you're lonely. Loneliness can make red flags look like cozy blankets. Feeling a bit of a void in my life, I befriended an ex-kid who began calling me every day to vent about their life, ask for help with random projects, rant, rave, and generally treat me like their unpaid therapist. Funny though, if I brought up my own issues, they'd suddenly have to jump on another call. Did I ignore the signs? Absolutely. Did I eventually realize I was just free emotional labor? You bet. Your time and energy are valuable. Don't let someone live rent-free in your life unless the relationship benefits you too. Number 8. Set boundaries and watch for clues. In Scientology, boundaries were labeled as counter-intention to the group. Outside, setting boundaries feels like a bold, awkward experiment, like walking backward. So I started small. Hey, can you stop eating fries off my plate? The ones who respected it, they're still in my life. The ones who labeled me difficult? See ya. Boundaries are like low-voltage electric fences. A gentle zap is usually enough. If someone can't respect them and keeps complaining about getting zapped too much, they're not your people. Number 9. Falling for Scientology light dynamics. Some people bring cult vibes outside the cult. I befriended someone who kept lecturing me about how I wasn't healing fast enough or in the right order. It felt like I'd been transported back into a stuffy Scientology course room, with a supervisor flunking me on my checkout and sending me back to my materials to clear my misunderstood words. No thank you. The moment someone starts playing moral authority over your life, it's perfectly fine to step back and keep on walking. Number 10. Laugh at yourself when you get it wrong. You're going to misread people sometimes, and that's okay. I avoided an under-the-radar friend for months because I thought they were trying to handle me. Nope, they just wanted to return a book I'd lent them. Navigating humans after Scientology is pretty weird. Without the go-to roadmaps we're used to, policies, tone scales, or e-meters, it feels like a free-for-all at first. But that's the beauty of it. Figuring out life on your terms, one awkward, messy, and occasionally hilarious step at a time. Stay curious, set boundaries, laugh at your missteps, and no matter what, always keep snacks on hand. You've got this.